Okay, I'm going to quickly show you how I'm working with tokens in this application. So let's assume we've signed up and we've created an Oracle data set. Somehow, well, let's assume we're already getting data. We're sending data. This is actually getting data, pulling it internally, but let's just assume we're sending this data to the system. We have our charts, we have our settings, and then we have our data set tokens. I'm not sure that's entirely clear. Maybe we could make this clear. Using an IG here, I wish there was, when we look at, let's look at over, well, I'm not going to look at it right now, but I wish we could make this a little prettier. This is awful blocky. I'm going to, at some point, look into other grid controls and how to implement them if it's not too hard. But this is one of the areas where I'm just going to have to deal with this this kind of UI look. It's not very consistent, I think, with other objects like your classic report. When we so when we're looking at settings here, it just looks a little different. Anyway, so if I want to add an API, not an API, yeah, a token for this data set. So this data set, this one's enabled. I can just do add row. This automatically gets filled out, and obviously the amount of randomization there is not what I want. I can't recall if I'm using DBMS Crypto or Sys GUI ID or GUI ID. So that's obviously got to be fixed. But we can add a description, and we can enable it or disable it, and then we can set an expiration time. Say 2 weeks. And unfortunately, I've got to figure out some way to get those to actually display. And so we can, and maybe we'll just change that to just raw date for now. I really don't need a specific time. We just do a date and call it good. Obviously, it's not perfect, but maybe we'll just do that. I don't know why the background is showing green here. I don't recall that happening. I don't know if I did something to mess that up. But that's kind of annoying. That is not in line with the color scheme. So we'll have to figure that out. These are the little UI things that could take a long time. Okay, so did we change our save? What happened? Why am I not seeing my new row? Okay, bug. Anyway, add row. Okay, wait. Yeah, save. Okay, that worked. Not sure what I did there. And now we don't have the green. I think maybe the green means I'm in edit mode. No. Add row. Yeah, it's showing like what you can edit, I guess. So we don't want that. And, oh, that's interesting. No. Oh, it's, for some reason when I add a row, it's defaulting back to that. So, okay, something to look at there. All right, let's move on. So this is our data set tokens. Now if we go up to app profile, this is going to be our API authentication token. So this allows you to talk to the API, and you're going to present this as either a bearer token or just maybe in the as a token string, as a parameter. And this allows you to talk to the API, and then the other token allows you to do something with the data set. You'll see that pattern a lot. You'll see two tokens, basically. So we might want to change this token. And so if we click that, we're presented with two other options. These are tokens that have never been used before. And if I select that one and click Apply Changes, and I go back to the page, there's a new entry here, and they've changed. And perhaps anytime it changes, I should go ahead and update both entries. Maybe that would be a little better. I think I'm not doing that. So let's show you how that's being done. So let's see, we've added an app user table to our schema. And we've added an API token column, and we're referencing the token tokens table, which is part of K2 as a foreign key. And in our application code, when we create an account, we insert a reference into app user for that account, and then we call the init user tokens. And it looks a little ugly because we've got, you could say this is redundant, but it is a little redundant. We could turn this into a procedure and call it 3 times, but we're just going to go with the insert statements for now. And what we're doing is we're enabling one token, so we're inserting into the token and returning the token ID, and then we update the app user with that token ID. So this is when a user account is created, and then we create like 2 standby tokens that are not enabled, so enabled is 0. And then the trigger, so when anytime app user's updated, so let's say we've changed the token ID, we're going to delete the token that we were using, and then we're going to enable the token we are using, and then we're going to insert another standby token. And this is where maybe we would just delete both those tokens and insert 2 new tokens, so that you technically have never, well, I guess you have seen them. You could look at them and stuff, but I don't know. We'll figure out what to do there. But that's how that's working. And the reason we're just doing this is because this is, let's go back to edit our page. We created this page as a form on the app user table, and we just wanted this to be as simple as possible. We want to use the native, create a page that's a form and get as much functionality out of that as possible without having to write a bunch of custom code. So this is an example of, we're trying to keep things trigger based, and so that when something is changed here, the things that need to happen behind the scenes happen, and we're just trying to work within the context of Oracle Apex, the UI, without having to do a lot of fancy stuff. And already to some degree, our page here, which has gotten more complicated as I've built it out a little bit. That's this page. Come on. Uh-oh. Lost our network connection. Okay, well, I just lost my network connection. That'll be back in a minute. Probably already back, looks like. Reload. There it is. Come on. So this page has gotten a little more complicated as we've added these things to it. All right, so we're going to call that progress, and we have an auth token. We have a token for our data set. It's not perfect, but it's enough that we can actually start building the API now and sending this data. So the idea, next thing that's going to the workflow would be is I'm going to create a data set, and then I'm going to be able to submit data to that data set over the internet using the API. And so that's what's next, the next piece of the puzzle. Thanks for watching.